I'm Liyana Hassanel, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Tun Daim Zainuddin laid to rest. And Wisma Putra to evacuate Malaysians stranded by Mount Luotobi eruption. The headlining story. Former Finance Minister Tun Daim Zainuddin, who passed away on Wednesday at a private hospital in the federal capital, has been laid to rest at the Bukit Kiara Muslim Cemetery. Daim passed away at the hospital in Petaling Jaya at 8:21 a.m. after 2 weeks of treatment. His body was then brought to his residence on Persiaran Bukit Tunku at 11:30 a.m. The remains were later taken to the Federal Territory Mosque at Jalan Duta for funeral prayers after the Asar prayer, led by the mosque's Grand Imam Jamal Abdul Halim. The van carrying the late Daim's remains arrived at the cemetery at 5:16 p.m. Under overcast skies after rainfall, the burial was attended by about 200 family members and friends, where Daim was laid to rest at 6:07 p.m. And from Peru, the Prime Minister expressed his condolences over Daim's passing. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim shared in his social media post that he received the news of Daim's passing upon arriving in Lima. Anwar said that the government values Daim's contributions and service to the nation, particularly during his tenure as Finance Minister. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi also expressed condolences to Daim's family, while praying for them to be given strength and perseverance. Earlier, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof paid his last respects to Daim at Bukit Tunku.
Kita mengucap takziah kepada mereka dan kita mendoakan yang terbaik untuk Tun dan semoga keluarga, ahli keluarga mereka diberi ketabahan dalam menghadapi dan keadaan sukar.
Meanwhile, in expressing immense grief, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad described Daim's demise as the loss of a friend. The former Prime Minister described Daim as a person who has contributed a lot to the nation. The passing of the former Finance Minister has been described as a great loss for the country as a whole and the business community, particularly in the banking and real estate sectors. The Malaysian Embassy in Jakarta is actively... Born on April 29, 1938 in Alostar, Kedah, Chair Abdul Daim Zainuddin was the youngest of 13 siblings. He received his early education at the Seberang Perak Malay School, Alostar, Kedah. Daim furthered his studies as a barrister at law at Lincoln's Inn in 1959 and in urban planning at the University of California, Berkeley in 1979. He is known among bankers, tycoons, politicians, and the media as the mastermind who extracted Malaysia from economic turmoil in the 1980s and again in the 1990s. During his first tenure as the finance minister, Daim not only helped restore the country's economy, but also enabled Malaysia to record an economic growth that was among the highest in Asia. From a negative growth of 1.03% in 1985, the gross domestic product, GDP, rebounded to 9.06% in 1989, setting the nation on a sound footing for greater expansion. Beyond politics, Daim made significant contributions to the business sector. His contributions to Perbadanan Pembangunan Bandar, UDA, and Fleet Holdings Sdn Bhd showcased his influential role in shaping Malaysia's business landscape. In 2018, Daim made a comeback in the country's political and administrative arena after the 14th general election, when he was given the responsibility of leading the federal government's Council of Eminent Persons. The council's purpose was to advise the government on economic and financial matters. The Malaysian Embassy in Jakarta is actively working to evacuate 83 Malaysians stranded in Labuan Bajo, East Nusa Tenggara, due to the eruption of Mount Luotobi Laki-Laki on Flores Island. Most of those affected are tourists, stranded after the closure of Komodo International Airport due to volcanic ash. In a statement on Wednesday, the embassy said that the number of stranded Malaysians is expected to rise as flights at two other nearby airports, Igusti Ngurah Rai in Bali and Lombok in West Nusa Tenggara, have also been cancelled due to the eruption. Embassy officials are currently closely monitoring the situation and are in contact with affected Malaysians to plan alternative routes. Affected Malaysians are also advised to adhere to local authority instructions and monitor updates on airspace openings. They are also urged to contact the Malaysian Embassy in Jakarta for consular assistance. Earlier, airlines in Australia, Hong Kong, India, Malaysia and Singapore have cancelled flights to and from the Indonesian island of Bali on Wednesday after a nearby volcano catapulted an ash tower miles into the sky. Australia's Jetstar Qantas and Virgin Australia all grounded flights after Mount Luatobi Laki-Laki on Flores Island spewed a 9-kilometre tower of ash a day earlier. Malaysia Airlines, AirAsia and Singapore Scoot also listed flights as cancelled on Wednesday. The airline said they would continue to monitor the volcano's status and provide updates. However, most were reported to only resume flights by Thursday. Volcanic ash poses a significant threat to safe operations of the aircraft in the vicinity of volcanic clouds. Indonesia's disaster mitigation agency said the eruptions pose serious risks to flights by disgorging fine ash that can damage jet engines and scour a plane's windscreen to the point of invisibility. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has arrived in Lima, Peru to attend the 31st Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation APEC Economic Leaders Week, AELW. At the event taking place from November 14th to 16th, Anwar will highlight Malaysia's commitment to enhancing economic cooperation and promoting equitable, inclusive development. The aircraft carrying Anwar touched down at 11:15 p.m. local time on Tuesday, marking his first official visit to the Western South American country. This is also the Prime Minister's first visit to the Latin American region since assuming office in 2022. Anwar was received at the military airbase with static guard of honor by Peru's Minister of Production, Sergio González Guerrero. On the second day of his official visit, the Prime Minister is scheduled to meet Peruvian President Dina Ercilia Boluarte Segarra at the Government Palace in Lima to discuss cooperation and bilateral relations between Malaysia and Peru. He will also receive Peru's highest award, Il Sol del Peru, in recognition of his role as head of government. 7 suspects were shot dead by police in 2 separate shootouts in Pulau Pinang and Kuala Lumpur over a 6-hour span. In the Pulau Pinang incident, 3 Malaysian men who were just about to commit a crime were shot dead in Nibong Tebal early Wednesday. They were suspected of being involved in firearms smuggling, burglary and luxury car theft. The incident occurred when a state police team was conducting a crime prevention operation at 5:30 a.m. Pulau Pinang Police Chief Datuk Hamzah Ahmad said during the patrol, police encountered 2 vehicles which aroused their suspicion. As the policemen attempted to approach the cars, a suspect fired several shots towards the cops. The policemen returned fire in self-defense, killing all the suspects.
Target dia orang adalah rumah dan juga kenderaan, terutama sekali kenderaan 4x4 atau 4x4 yang kita akan dicuri di sini dan dia akan seluduk, dia bawa keluar daripada negara kita lah.
Checks on the suspects' vehicles revealed a semi-automatic pistol, a revolver, a box of 50 9mm bullets, another box of 44 9mm bullets, a machete, a crowbar, and a hammer. Cops also found a bolt cutter, car theft tools, screwdrivers, car license plates, and other electronic devices. The suspects were aged between 30 and 42. With this case, police believe they have successfully solved 33 luxury car theft and robbery cases in Pulau Pinang, involving about 4 million ringgit in losses. In the Kuala Lumpur shootout, police gunned down 4 foreign men on Tuesday night, who were believed to be involved in a string of safe-breaking cases across the Klang Valley. The suspects, all in their 40s, were linked to 44 cases dating back to 2018. With total losses estimated at 4.3 million ringgit. City Police Chief Datuk Rusdi Isa stated that the 4 Vietnamese nationals were killed in an exchange of gunfire during a raid on a 17th floor condominium unit at Jalan Imbi at approximately 11:30 p.m. As police approached the unit, the suspects suddenly opened fire, prompting officers to return fire in self-defense, resulting in the deaths of all 4 suspects at the scene. 2 pistols and 2 machetes used to attack the police were also seized. Investigations revealed that the suspects frequently entered Malaysia as tourists, targeting safes in offices and residences, usually at night. Their most recent crime was reported in Sri Hartamas 2 days ago, before they went into hiding at the condominium unit. Efforts to identify other individuals linked to the suspects are ongoing. A woman was killed after a container fell off a trailer and crushed several vehicles in Bukit Mertajam, Pulau Pinang on Wednesday morning. A man was also seriously injured in the 9:16 a.m. incident at Jalan Bukit Tengah.
Several videos of the crash went viral on social media, including dashcam footage showing the moment the container fell from the trailer and landed on several vehicles waiting at the traffic light. The trailer was making a left turn at the traffic light junction at the location when the container tipped over. Authorities reported that in addition to the trailer, the accident involved 3 cars and a lorry. One of the drivers, 21-year-old Lizzie Rue, died on the spot. She was driving alone to work when the incident occurred. 2 cranes were used to lift the container, allowing firefighters to recover her body. The body was then handed over to the police for further action. Another male victim, 25-year-old Tan Chu Theng, was pulled from the wreckage by members of the public and rushed to Seberang Jaya Hospital for treatment.
Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim's recent official visit to Egypt has unlocked 4.8 billion ringgit in potential export opportunities for Malaysia. According to Investment, Trade and Industry Ministry, the export potential was largely generated through a roundtable meeting, attended by 60 industry and business leaders from 47 Egyptian firms and key business associations, along with 40 representatives from 20 Malaysian companies. The export potentials were particularly in high-value sectors such as automotive, chemicals, oleochemicals and renewable energy. Egyptian companies also expressed interest in investment opportunities in Malaysia, particularly in medical devices and pharmaceuticals. Both nations have also agreed to reactivate the Malaysia-Egypt Joint Trade and Investment Committee, JTIC, where Malaysia will host the second JTIC meeting in early 2025, focusing on collaboration in the semiconductor sector, renewable energy, the halal industry and digital transformation. Bilateral trade between Malaysia and Egypt from January to September rose 21.4% year-on-year to about 3 billion ringgit, compared to 2.4 billion ringgit in the same period last year. German companies in Malaysia have expressed an optimistic outlook for 2025. According to the AHK World Business Outlook Fall 2024 survey, the Malaysian-German Chamber of Commerce and Industry, MGCC, or AHK Malaysia as it is known in Germany, the findings illustrate a strong confidence among companies in Malaysia, highlighting a positive trajectory for business development and economic growth in the coming year. The survey, conducted with 111 members from MGCC, highlighted key insights reflecting the resilience and growth expectations of German businesses operating in Malaysia. MGCC Executive Director Jan Noether said German companies are comfortable and committed to the Malaysian market, with a clear outlook for continued success and expansion in the year ahead. He said Malaysia's stable economic environment and supportive policies play a key role in stimulating further investment, reinforcing MGCC's belief in the country as a reliable and attractive hub for business growth. According to the survey, 92% of German business in Malaysia reported conditions as good or satisfactory, which marks a significant increase of 10% compared to the same period last year. The global personal luxury goods market looks set to face its first slowdown this year since the global financial crisis, as macroeconomic uncertainty and a pronounced slowdown in China weigh on consumer spending. According to global consulting firm Bain & Company, this is the first slowdown in demand for personal luxury goods, which include clothing, bags, jewelry and cosmetics, in 15 years, excluding the COVID-19 lockdown period. According to Wednesday findings, higher costs and falling customer loyalty saw shoppers shun high-end brands in 2024, denting company profits and likely to cause the sector to contract by a projected 2% over the full-year period. It noted that overall luxury spending is forecast to remain flat year-on-year in 2024 at about $1.59 billion, even as segments including autos, travel and fine wine record modest growth. According to the report, sustained weakness in the China market could also weigh further on the luxury sector in 2025. Zainuddin survived scare to secure spot in round 2. Sports after this breather.
Lebih segar, lebih dinamik. Laporan komprehensif menghidupkan pagi anda.
Buletin pagi dengan waktu yang baharu. 9.30 pagi setiap hari bermula 1 November.
Sayang, nampak jam saya tak?
Alah, awak yang tak kemas betul-betul. Semaklah, serabut tau.
Hidup ini keras. Kita patut bertolak ansur dengan pasangan kita.
Kita kena ambil berat, ambil peduli dan saling berkongsi kesenangan dan kepayahan kerana ia adalah penghubung kasih sayang.
$30 lagu bakal berentak merebut tempat ke pentas anugerah juara lagu 39.
Lagu manakah yang akan layak? Segalanya bakal terjawab di Muzik 39 separuh akhir pada 14 dan 15 November ini, 9 malam hanya di TV3.
Makcik tak boleh buat Adah macam ni. Adah tak cintakan Borhan.
Kalau dia tak terima Borhan pun, kau ingat aku nak terima kau kan jadi menantu aku?
Cinta mereka bertaut atas dasar minat yang sama. Saat hati saling terikat, mereka berpisah tanpa kata. Di tengah hiruk pikuk kota Tokyo, kini dia kembali.
Sakuraku.
Dengan rahsia yang tersimpan. Silent, mulai 16 November, setiap Sabtu dan Ahad 7 malam di Yoshi TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports, badminton, the 2024 Kumamoto Masters. National men's singles shuttler Zainuddin survived a scare against Malaysia's up-and-coming shuttler Justin Ho to reach the second round in Japan on Wednesday. The fifth seed was forced to work hard before overcoming world number 50 Justin 21-16, 12-21, 21-17 in a grueling first-round 62-minute match. This was the former All-England champion's first match since suffering an ankle injury in the Arctic Open quarterfinals last month. World number 7, Zainuddin, will face Taiwan's Su Liyana in the next round. In another match fresh from the Korea Masters victory last week, national men's doubles pair Aaron Chia So Hu-yik had a close call before advancing to the second round. The fourth seeds had to dig deep before prevailing 15-21, 21-17, 21-9 in 52 minutes against Daniel Lundgaard Mats Vestergaard from Denmark during the first round of the Super 500 tournament. A rematch of the 2024 Korea Masters semi-finals is on the cards for the Paris Olympic bronze medalists when they will lock horns against Taiwanese duo Xu Xiangqie, Wang Qilin in the second round. Also through to the second round were mixed doubles pair Go Soon Hwat, Siobhan Lai, who came back from a set down to defeat Japan's new partnership, Yuta Watanabe, Maya Taguchi, 18-21, 21-12, 21-14. With the win, the world number 10 sets up a meeting with China's Zhu Zhihong, Yang Jieyi in the next round. Earlier, mixed doubles pair Chen Tangji, To Yi-wei's comeback on the World Tour was short-lived after the pair crashed out in the first round. The world number 9 fell 15-21, 12-21 to Thailand's new pairing, Dechapo Puavaranukroh, Supisara Paiwatsampran in just 31 minutes. Tang Ji Yi-wei had missed several tournaments following the latter's gym accident in September, which required 16 stitches to her arm. Women's doubles shuttleist Vivian Hu, Lim Chiu-sien also bowed out in the first round after the world number 47 were sent packing for home by Japan's Kaho Osawa, Mai Tanabe, 17-21, 16-21 after 45 minutes. Turning to squash, the 2024 Ace Malaysia Cup. National player S. Siva Sanghari sealed a place in the quarterfinals of the $64,000 tournament after an emphatic win over Egypt's Noor Haikal in Petaling Jaya on Wednesday. The top-seeded Kedahan, who received a first-round bye, claimed an 11-4, 11-5, 11-9 win over the world number 61 in just 23 minutes. The world number 9 will next face compatriot Aifa Azman, who defeated Spain's Cristina Gomez in straight sets 11-4, 11-4, 11-4. Earlier, two-time national champion Aira Azman also advanced into the quarterfinals with an 11-6, 9-11, 11-4, 11-4 win over Australian Sarah Cartwell in 31 minutes. The world number 32 will next face Scotland's world number 28 and 4th seed Georgia Adelaide, who beat Hong Kong's Cheng Nga Ching. On to tennis, the 2024 ATP Nitto Finals. Italian top seed Jannik Sinner defeated American Taylor Fritz to move closer to the last four. The 23-year-old won 6-4, 6-4 in his second win in front of a home crowd in Turin. The world number 1 will face 4th-seeded Daniil Medvedev on Friday to book a spot in the finals. Earlier, a rejuvenated Medvedev defeated Alex de Minaur 6-2, 6-4 in the Ilia Nastase group. The Russian bounced back from his opening round loss to Fritz, defeating de Minaur without facing a breakpoint and hitting 24 winners to 10. New Delhi chokes as air pollution surges. The details when Nightline returns.
Lahir dengan kuasa luar biasa, identiti mereka dirahsiakan.
Aku boleh baca fikiran kau.
Aku tak minta kau jadi pandai macam ni.
Allah ni dah bagi kita kelebihan. Kita guna apa orang kena beri.
Dan mereka kini adalah satu-satunya harapan.
Kalau macam ni punya gaya, kita dah boleh buat kumpulan pencegah jenayah.
Aku setuju. Tapi kita kena bergerak secara rahsia. Boleh? Boleh.
Squad X mulai 22 November, Khamis hingga Sabtu 9 malam. Terbaru di Lestari TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Cepat. Gol!
Lah, apa nangis? Bola je pun.
Sedihlah drama ni.
Wan, tengok bola tu drama.
Korang tahu tak ada banyak drama dengan filem Korea dekat Tonton? Korang boleh layan opak korang sampai pagi. Muat turun aplikasi Tonton sekarang. Semua favourite anda ada di sini.
Cakap dengan siapa?
A woman's spirit is boundless. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smile. Because this season, we're louder than ever. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. Women's Talk is here to empower and inspire you. Join us on Women's Talk every Saturday, 5 p.m. only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Lebih segar segar, lebih dinamik. Laporan komprehensif menghidupkan pagi anda.
Buletin pagi dengan waktu yang baharu. 9.30 pagi setiap hari bermula 1 November.
Onto the foreign front. People in India's capital Delhi on Wednesday woke up to a thick layer of smog as the air quality deteriorated to severe levels in the city. Delhi and its neighboring cities are now experiencing pollution levels that are at least 30 to 35 times the safe limit recommended by the WHO, after Swiss group IQ Air's life rankings showed the city with an air quality index score of more than 1,000, which is considered hazardous. However, India's pollution authority said the AQI was around 350, and officials were not immediately available to explain the variation. Officials also said the pollution had reduced visibility to 100 meters in some places by around 8 a.m. local time. Meanwhile, a survey revealed that 81% of families in the capital and neighboring cities have reported at least one member suffering from health issues due to pollution in the last 3 weeks. While Delhi and northern states battle hazardous air during the winter months of October to January every year, experts this time say that the condition is likely to get worse in the coming days. Elsewhere in Pakistan, severe smog continued to engulf Lahore on Wednesday as UNICEF called for greater efforts to reduce pollution and protect children's health in Punjab. Lahore's air quality remained hazardous at 9 a.m. local time, according to iCare score of 447. But this was significantly lower than the 1,900 that it touched in places earlier this month. Children were warded in hospitals, and doctors said many children were coming to the hospital from Lahore and other cities with respiratory ailments caused by smog. The Punjab province has banned most outdoor activities and ordered shops, markets and malls in some areas to close early from Monday to curb illnesses caused by intense air pollution. The province has closed educational institutions and public spaces like parks and zoos until November 17th in places including Lahore. The Philippines ordered evacuations ahead of Typhoon Usagi on Wednesday, as the UN Disaster Office sought $32.9 million in aid for the country after storms that killed more than 150 people. According to the National Weather Service, Usagi, the archipelago's fifth major storm in 3 weeks, was likely to make landfall Thursday in Cagayan province on the northeast tip of main island Luzon. The provincial civil defense chief said that under emergency protocols, all the mayors must implement the forced evacuation, especially for susceptible areas, adding that as many as 40,000 people in the province lived in hazard-prone areas. Meanwhile, the United Nations said the successive storms have taken a toll on the resources of both the government and local households. It stressed that about 210,000 of those most affected by recent flooding need support for critical life-saving and protection efforts over the next 3 months. United States President-elect Donald Trump has named tech magnate Elon Musk and former Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy as his picks to lead the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, a new body he plans to establish once he returns to the White House. In a statement on Tuesday, Trump said together the two will pave the way for their administration to dismantle government bureaucracy, slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies. He added that importantly, they will also drive out the massive waste and fraud which exists throughout their annual $6.5 trillion of government spending. According to the president-elect, under his plan, Musk and Ramaswamy would conclude their work by July 4, 2026, which is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the U.S. Declaration of Independence. As the Zionist violence continues, Lebanon's health ministry on Wednesday said a Zionist raid on Dawet Aramun has killed and wounded more civilians. News footage showed plumes of black smoke rising over the area following the strikes, about an hour after Israel's army issued evacuation warnings. Giving a preliminary toll, the ministry said a total of 6 people were killed and around 15 others injured, adding that body parts were recovered from the site where the 4-story building had partially collapsed and that the victims' identities are currently being verified. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Israel has accomplished its goals and that it was time for fighting in Gaza to end. He also called for Israel to do more to get relief to Gaza, including holding extended pauses of fighting after Washington defied humanitarian groups to conclude Israel was not blocking aid. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as tourists visiting London's famous Kew Gardens walk through festive nighttime trail that uses lights to bring the garden to life. With that, I'm Hassanel. Thank you for watching and be well, Malaysia.